Number 1. Respect your children and they will respect you. Respect is for all. The people you neglect can rise above you if given the time. It's not a good idea to underestimate anyone, even billionaires dressed in plain clothes. On the other hand, the way you behave can influence the ones closest to you. If you disrespect your children, they'll replicate your behavior and learn to disrespect the ones around them. That includes friends, co-workers, and authoritative figures. If you want your children to do well in society, treat them as equals. 2. Do not covert contract anyone. You might expect others to do you a favor because you offer help. But the person who received help didn't know your service has a price tag, and if they do, they might not want your service in the first place. You might expect your children to do what you ask just because you say so, but your logic behind it is unclear. It's as if your child owes you a debt they have to pay by blind obedience. Let's investigate. Is it because you have to carry that extra weight for 9 months before you give birth? Or is it because you have to go through cramps, back pain, hair loss, sleep deprivation, and all the hassle and urgent care for your infant? Not quite. If you don't want a child, you would A. have an abortion, B. give them up for adoption. If you haven't done these two things and you have one under a name, you should already have considered all the essentials, including their expenses in a lifetime, especially emotional ones. You shall expect them to grow up, throw tantrums, be immature, disobey, and go through all the things you or most people have been through around that age. And since you want your relationship to last, you need to offer your children a reason to do what you want them to, not because you said so, but with the proper manners, like how you treat your coworkers or your equals. I encourage using the transactional method for building a common ground between you and your children when it comes to assigning responsibilities. For example, if you sweep the floor every other night, you can have 1 extra hour free time after school. Or, I can buy you something that's equivalent to the time you spent doing something for me. But what they want costs more than what the chore is worth, and creates a level of responsibilities for the price. This encourages competitiveness, and note this: the more competitive someone is, the higher their future revenue. I don't recommend paying them every time. You don't want to be just the boss, and your children should strive to be more selfless if they're self-centered to begin with. You can exchange things with sentimental values over time. Instead of buying them a gift, do some fun activity together and create a better memory you can look back and smile at. And kids, don't try to profit off your parents when you live in their house. After all, they pay for devices, electricity, and rent. Don't be a brat. Everything is transactional. Whether the currency you use is emotional or logical, your children will learn how to interact with their peers with this strategy. And when they do, no one will dare to take advantage of them. 3. State your terms. If you expect your children to take care of you when they become adults or when you retire, tell them as soon as they can write, and repeat it every year after so they know you mean it. Always give your children a deadline for becoming independent. Here's a classic example. You must be out the house when you turn 18. Or, I don't care what you do, as long as it's legal and you have enough to survive when you're out on your own. Just do it. This encourages them to test out what they like earlier in life, failing enough to not be afraid of it compared to someone who has their first job at 17. Be clear on your direction and what you want your children to achieve and why. Say what you need to say. Instead of, you will have to do the dishes or I'll take away your phone, say, as long as you live in this household, you will need to follow the rules and share the chores. That's what we do as a unit. Unless you move out, then you can create your own rules and do whatever you want, go wherever you want. Can't stop you. 4. Appeal to their self-interest. To succeed in getting what you want, you have to focus not on your desires, but on those of the other person. She probably couldn't care less about your needs, and if you focus on them, she'll view you as desperate or as an annoyance. End quote. Sounds familiar? It's not about puberty. It's the fundamental of humanity itself. Instead of arguing, learn to understand things from your children's perspective. We all have been kids once before we became adults. Since you can read and write, I encourage you to do some research and watch what they watch until you grasp their worldview. You will notice we all have different cultures for each age group, and you can't evaluate your children based on your experience with your parents alone. And just like all things that last and have value, I'm sure you could study your kids for your own benefit. It will save you a lot of frustration, a lot of headaches, and a lot of time for them to overcome any potential trauma you cause. 5. Treat them as your equals. Your children are not your property. They're separate beings with your DNA, not a body of your dream and ideology. They are not your puppets. You do not have a right to hold their strings. That is mental abuse. Just because it's common doesn't make it right. Your child needs to be responsible for their own action. Well, so do you. And please, do not kill their identity for whatever you see as unfit. My parents had done this, unfortunately, and it was not mean or disappointing. It's someone who's unable to accept you on a fundamental level, and that's one of the worst things you can inflict on your children. 6. Do not fit them into a box you created. If you think there's something weird or abnormal about your child, even after having consulted an expert, they might just be incompatible with your personality type. There are 512 types of humans on this planet. It is highly unlikely you have met all of them. If you're interested in learning more about yourself, your children, or anyone you come across, you can study objective personality type. If you don't, no worries. It's not made for the majority. 7. Respect their boundary. This is a no-brainer if you value your privacy. However, there is a real case where a girl in middle school committed suicide after a parent went through her diary. If you still think that is fine after watching this, you weren't paying attention in the first place. This act is just as invasive as being stalked when you're naked. Please do not do this to your kid, no matter how curious you are about their inner world. There is no test for being qualified as a parent, so even if you disagree with my points, I'm glad you're here, and you clearly want to be responsible. My message is this. As parents, you need to be better than being used as an excuse for failing. You can be a friend, a role model, or even a hero, but don't try to be labeled as bad parenting, fear, or trauma.